Hi everyone, welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizon, part 13. Last episode, we were able to complete our campsite, and I'm actually excited to see which villager will actually get from it. I'm also trying to still find Mabel to get Able Sisters. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that today. In the last episode, since we did have resident services building upgraded, we finally have Isabel on her daily broadcast, which is pretty amazing. I really enjoy the small things she does share with us on a daily basis. As per her broadcast, we do have a new visitor in our campsite. I am really excited to see who it is, so let's check it out. Thankfully, I do have a pipe right next to the campsite, so I don't really have to worry too much about it. Each time if I'm visiting the campsite, I can easily go through this one. But of course, before we go there, I just had to check out my mailbox as well as the shop. This is kind of my usual routine, so I'm just gonna be following this every single day. I'm also hoping that my shop will actually upgrade pretty soon. If I remember, it will take around 20 days, so hopefully we'll get there as soon as possible. As for the items in the shop, I'm pretty happy with the ones we have today. I'm surprised on the odds to get both plants. I have seen one furniture item and one plant, but not both of them, so this is pretty cool. This will definitely help me decorate the island much better. When it comes to potted plant items, I usually like to keep them right next to the house. It kind of, adds to the atmosphere of it and looks really good as an outdoor item. Hopefully, I'll be able to place these two in someone's house. We do have more villages coming in soon, so I'm very excited to go ahead and use some of these items for their houses as well. It seems like we don't really have too many other items in the shop, so I'll quickly go ahead and leave. Now I do have to do my daily tasks since this is still the beginning of the game, and I do still have a focus on collecting more items. Hopefully I do get some of the items that I really need pretty soon. If not, I might have to reach out to my friends to check out if they have those items. Anyway, now that I'm here, let's check out which visitor we actually have. Unfortunately, no matter who it's gonna be, we do have to call them to our island. In our case, it's actually Ken. I did have Ken in one of my previous islands. It was my very first island, and sadly I had actually resetted the island as soon as he came. So I didn't really get to talk to this villager a lot, so I'm pretty happy to have him in my island. Let's quickly talk to him and see what we can do. You know what, I just realized that we don't really have a house set up for him. So probably we do have to go back and talk to Tom Nook and see what we can actually do. Maybe Tom Nook will give us a housing kit which we can go ahead and place on our island. Right here, before I entered the resident services building, Midge actually wanted to talk to me. Apparently she's gonna give us a gift for letting her move into this island, which is pretty nice. Let's see what we did get. Ooh, a metronome. Now, I think I'll go ahead and keep this one inside my house, but for now, I think I do have a place for it. Let me quickly go ahead and open up the present. I've still yet to complete my daily task, so I have to actually complete it at some point. But for now, the metronome will actually be present right here on the table. Sadly, we are not easily able to manipulate the item placement outside, so I guess this is what it's gonna be. Oh well, maybe I'll come back to this one later. Let me at least keep it in the middle before I move on. The next thing I remembered was to go ahead and keep one of the plants right next to Flo's house. I think the cypress plant looks good right there. As for this one, I'll just place it randomly in the middle right here. To be honest, I'm not too thrilled about that springy ride-on. It's one of those items that I never use in this game. So probably at some point it will be either sold or just, kept in the storage. I'm also not a big fan of the different ride items that you have in Nook Stop, which you can actually buy using Nook Miles. I have seen many people use them in an island, but I've never been too thrilled about those items, so I think I'm not going to use them either. As for the other plant, I was actually planning to keep it in front of the shop, but unfortunately it did not work out, so I'm just gonna try and see if I can place it right next to the campsite. On my way back, I actually found another gift. Let's see what this one's gonna be. In this game, or I guess in this island, for some reason I each time get money from the balloon gift rather than the items, which is a bit frustrating. I'm really hoping to get more newer recipes, but I'm still stuck with getting bells. As for the second plant, I think this one looks much better right next to the campsite. Checking out the present, we did get a utility sink, which I might actually use in my house. It's a really good addition to my kitchen. Either way, I made my way back to the resident services building. And before we go and talk to Tom Nook, I just wanted to check out the Nook Stop. Hopefully we have a new item that I can actually buy. Not bad. The floating biotope planter is pretty cool. It's another item that I really like to place in front of my villager's house. I think it looks pretty nice. But if you have a better place for me to actually place that item, let me know in the comment section. Going back to buying the stuff right here, I'm just gonna check out the fence. I think I already have the simple wooden fence, but let me try buying it once again. That reminds me, I actually do not have this recipe. I do have the fence itself, which was a gift from Tom Nook, but I did not have the recipe. So now that I have this one, I think I can actually craft more if I do need it in the future. Now that we have this, let me quickly learn it before I talk to Tom Nook. There we go. Did check the recycle box, but we don't really have anything over there. I'm not really sure how the items actually appear in that box. I see that when a villager actually leaves the island, we do have an item in the box, but there are times when there are random items appearing in it. If you do know how that actually works, let me know in the comment section. Right here, as I expected, we did get a housing kit from Tom Nook, which is pretty helpful. Let me go ahead and place this housing kit on our island, which means by tomorrow we'll have Ken moved into our island. Now, as for his house, I think I already have a place chosen. I'll keep his house as far away from the entrance of the island. The reason for this is I'm just trying to spread out the villager houses. I think this place right here at the corner would be better. At some point, I do have to move all of my villages back to the ocean so I can actually terraform. So having his house so close in the border will definitely help me. There we go. This one will look pretty cool. Now that we have this, let's go ahead and talk to Ken as well. See what he has to actually say. I think once he moves into our island, he's going to be our 6th villager. That means we still have 4 more to invite, and definitely I'm excited to see who they are gonna be. Here he is. Let's talk to him and I guess give him the good news that he is gonna be moving into our island. Very cool. By the way, I really like his house design. His interior does include, Japanese style house, where you have the tatami mats as well as the other traditional items. I think that's pretty nice, and definitely it's gonna be a really good addition to my island. Now that we have the housing kit placed, going back to the resident services, Tom Nook is gonna talk to us once more. This time we have extra dialogues with him asking us to go ahead and keep other housing plots available. I think this is definitely pretty interesting, and I'm really interested to go ahead and get more villages into my island. This time while talking to him, we do select on the infrastructure and select the new option, sell some land. Unfortunately, we do have to pay him 1000 bells, but he will reward us back with Nook miles, which I'm really not sure if it's equivalent to it. Either way, we are gonna go ahead and get the first one. The other thing is that only one housing kit is available per day, so I do have to go ahead and find a villager for this one before I can buy the next one. Since we were already here, I also decided on buying an incline. Since we do have 4 more new villagers coming to my island, I think it's time for me to go ahead and add a ramp. This will definitely help me access the island much easier, and I think I'll be able to go ahead and place some houses in the top level as well. This is definitely super exciting since we are doing more progress in this game. For the next housing kit, I have actually decided to go ahead and finally place a house in this part of the island. If you didn't know, we had that bridge, the log bridge kind of constructed way back, but unfortunately I really didn't place any house here. Since we do have this still accessible, I can go ahead and at least place a house here before we move on. Of course, I do have to bury the bells here though. After deciding to clear up some trees, I finally have a clear place to go ahead and place the house. Let me look for a proper area. I think this is pretty good. Not too close to the beach and not too far in. This is definitely a really good place for me to keep my next house. Now that we have this housing kit, I'm hoping that the game will itself, assign a villager to this house. If not, probably we'll go ahead and find one. The other thing for me to do is go ahead and place the incline. I did cut down a couple of trees here as well. Anyway, at some point I do have to cut down these trees if I am going to terraform, so I'm not too worried about them. I also have fruit stored in my storage, and I can definitely go ahead and grow more trees in the future. But I think this one is pretty good. Let me quickly keep it right here. Unfortunately, for ramps and bridges, you do have to pay yourself. So I do have to pay for this one if I need it to be available tomorrow. Since this is the first time we are placing a ramp, we get a call from Tom Nook explaining to us on what we have to do. But of course, since we already have played this game before, we know what to do next. Let's talk to Lloyd right here and see how much damage we have to pay. It's 98,000 bells. Alright, I don't really have that many yet, but I'll pay as much as possible right now and pay the rest later. I do want to pay it today, and hopefully by tomorrow, that is in the next episode, we'll have an incline right here. Alright, unfortunately I wasn't able to get enough bells for that day, so I did have to move the game for the next day. So here we have another broadcast from Isabel. Of course, we do have the announcement of Ken moving in since this is the next day. We can definitely check out his house as well, but I think he wouldn't have moved his furniture in yet. Either way, I think we have another chance to go ahead and pay for the incline. Since it's the next day, I quickly checked my mailbox. We do have the item that we did order yesterday, so I'm just gonna pick it up. And we have Mabel for the 3rd time. Pretty cool. This means we'll be able to get Able Sisters in the next episode. There we have it. She does have the dialogue of giving us a new kit. Now, I'm not really sure if you do have to kind of have 6 villagers to get her to give you the kit, but that's what has happened right here. Let me know if you did get your Able Sisters before you got your campsite. Now, before we place her kit on our island, I do want to check out the clothes that she does have. If she does have a really good item, I'll quickly buy it before we move on. As usual, her catalog is not gonna be that big, but I think this kimono looks pretty cool, so I'm just gonna buy it. The other ones I'm not too thrilled about, so I'm not gonna buy the other items. As for placing the kit, I think right next to the campsite would do pretty well. I could actually keep it in the next level, but accessing the shop would make it a bit difficult for me, and I would like to have all of my shops as close as to my house. So this place right here, I think it looks pretty cool. There we go. We will finally be having Able Sisters in tomorrow's episode. Alright, so definitely we did quite a lot of progress in this episode. The only thing left for me to do is go ahead and talk to Ken, who is right there. Hopefully he does have his items arranged. I really like the furniture in his house, like I mentioned before, so I'm pretty excited to see it once again. Alright, here we are, and unfortunately he still does not have it unpacked, so I guess we have to wait for tomorrow to check out his house. Either way, it was nice to actually talk to him. Back on my other housing kit, it seems like we have another villager assigned. Elvis. Okay. I have never had a lion villager in my island, so I think this will be pretty nice. If you don't know how Elvis is, I am not going to show you the picture. You can definitely go ahead and check it out in the next episode. But moving back to resident services, we still have quite a few dialogue with Tom Nook right here. And since this is the next day, I can also go ahead and buy another housing kit. So let me check it out. I guess this is the dialogue where he does talk about having KK Slider on our island. Let's talk to him to get that plan moving on. Alright, clicking on what should I do again. Let's hear the plan that Tom Nook has on Project K. It seems like he is going to talk about the feedback on the island from Isabel, which is something I do have to keep in mind for getting a 5-star island, of course. Going back to the option on selling more island, unfortunately I don't have enough bells, so I'll come back to it. For now, I'll just check out Nook's Stop and see what I can do. Lucky for me, I do have some extra bells. I'm not really trying to complete my loan right now, so I can definitely spend it more on the incline as well as selling the land. There we go. We have another new housing kit. Hopefully we'll have another new villager moving in pretty soon. The next thing for me to do would probably be finding a place for this housing kit. After all, I am trying to keep the houses as far as possible, and the nearest place would be in the other side of this island. Before we go with the housing kit, let me quickly pay up the bells for the incline. We do have enough, and I think I'll try to find some more bells later. There we go. This will be ready for us in the next episode. I have more plans on placing some houses on top of these levels, so hopefully this incline will help me access them much easily. As for having more inclines in the future, I will not be adding any more incline to this island. The main reason for this is that I will be having terraforming done on this island on a later stage, and I just don't want to waste bells just having inclines created and destroying them later. So I think one is good enough. You know what, since we are here, I'll go ahead and keep this housing kit right next to the pond. I'm actually planning to keep the heart-shaped pond in my island. Hopefully I'll be able to fit it with my 5-star island design, but for now the next housing kit will be right here. I'm also planning to see if I can try and get a villager onto my island by inviting them to the deserted island. We can definitely go ahead and use the Nook Miles ticket for it. Hopefully I'll get someone I want to actually have in my island. Anyway, now that we have completed it, I'll quickly go ahead and complete the rest of my daily tasks. This also reminds me, since it's a new day, I had to actually check out the shop. There are quite a few items I definitely want to buy, especially that antique clock right there. I really like the antique clock designs and all the other items that you do get in that set. Hopefully, I'll be able to have them all at the end of this. I definitely want to have a room just filled with the antique items. I know that there are a couple of villages who do come with the antique items in their house, and I am planning to have that in my house as well. So hopefully I do find them. We also have this plant right here which I'm gonna buy multiple of. But of course, once I completed all of my tasks, I still had a bit more time to actually record. So I decided to go ahead and check out another new villager. We can try using our Nook Miles ticket, which I have got for free, and see which villager we'll find. I mean, if I do find someone that I really like, I'll go ahead and invite them to my island. After all, we do have a housing kit that's still available. I'm also excited to see which island I might go to. After all, we do have a lot of islands, and hopefully I'll get the one I really need. Okay, here we are. Alright, since this is the first time we are here, we do have some extra dialogue from Wilbur. But we are in the Money Island. This is surprising. I was not actually expecting that. Pretty lucky. Let me actually quickly go ahead and get the money. Definitely I did need it, so I'm pretty happy about that. We definitely need more bells to complete the loan of the house as well as the housing kit. So this will definitely help. As for the resident right there, I think I might not call her to my island. I'm hoping to find a villager which I might really like. For now, I'm not gonna call this villager into my island. Since this was the first time I'm in a deserted island, I did decide to go ahead and get the coconuts. After all, they are one of the fruits that we need to complete our Nook Miles task, and it will be a really good addition for my beach. Probably I'll go back to my island and plant them right away. Alright, here we are, and I think this is the perfect place for one of them. Very cool. We do have to wait at least 3 days for it to actually completely grow and give me more of the coconuts, but for now I think this is pretty cool. Let me plant them in many different places, at least 2 to 3 trees, so that I do have multiple of them at some point, to have some of them kind of kept in the storage. But other than that, I think we have done pretty much on this episode, and I think this is a really good place for me to end out this episode. In the next one, we'll have a new villager coming into our island. We'll have a new incline for which we do have to check out. I'm also interested in checking out the deserted islands a bit more to find another new villager for us. We do have our able sisters opening up as well, so a lot of things happening in the next episode, and definitely pretty excited for it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to support me more in Patreon, check out the links in my description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.